My dear friends, welcome to Sur Sangam Reflections from Jaipur. Today I am here to reflect on that great aspect of prayer. Every religion we find someone or other is praying. If there is no prayer in this religion, it cannot be a prayer or religion at all. Why do we say this? Because when we mean prayer, it is talking to God or talking to someone who rules over us, who cares for us. That is exactly what we mean by prayer. Prayer can be of different types, but every religion people are praying sometime or other. Today, Jesus tells us a beautiful episode where he tells us about a widow who goes to a judge asking for justice, but she doesn't get that justice because he doesn't care for her. At that time, the widows were in the very bad shape. Nobody cared for them. Once their husband died, they had to live terribly. No money, no place to live, and sometimes they were on the road. They didn't get any property from anyone. Even in our own country, the widows suffered terribly. They could not go for any ceremony, and they were considered as cursed people. And you know very well the pratha, sati as we call, where they were thrown on the pyre of the husband and they had to die. That was an extreme case. But Jesus tells us this woman who goes to that judge goes on asking him for justice. But that man ignores her. He goes on telling her, get out, I'm not interested in you. And she knows that man is the person who is not give her any justice. But then she continues. And finally, that man gives that justice which she deserves. Not because she goes on pleading, but he is annoyed with her. He is fed up with her. And he says, okay, you have it. Why does Jesus give this episode? Not to show us that God is like that, but to tell us that God is someone much more than that judge. In other words, if we go on praying to him, he will always give us, grant us what we need. My dear friends, what does that really prayer means? Is it exactly what is shown over there? That you go again and again to God and he will give you? No, it is not the question of repetition. It is the question of being one with God. It is like a little child in relationship with the father or mother. The child goes and asks the mother what she wants or what he is going to give. But the mother may not give or father may not give. But she keeps on going and saying, Mommy, give me that or give me this. Ultimately, the father or mother is bound to give something. He cannot ignore her or ignore him. Dear friends, what does that mean? That means there is a relationship. There is an affinity. That is exactly what Jesus is talking about. Friends, sometimes we forget that God is the one who cares for us. Because sometimes we feel, in spite of our asking again and again, God does not give it. Yes, it is like walking in a tunnel and everywhere we find nothing at all. And then we lose hope. But Jesus says, don't lose hope. That woman did not lose hope because during her time, widows were not cared at all. But finally, she receives what she deserves. Dear friends, sometimes we doubt God, or sometimes we use God like a crutch. You know what is a crutch? When the person is not able to walk, he puts a crutch and then he starts walking. Which means that we think that we should pray only when we need something. Otherwise, we don't bother about him. And whatever success we achieve, we give credit only to ourselves, not to God. That is something wrong. Because whether we are joyful or whether we are sorrowful, whether we receive something or whether we don't receive something, it all comes from God. Why? Because God cares for us. He loves us. We can trust in him. मेरे प्यारे भाई और बहनों, मैं यही बताना चाहता हूं कि पिछले दिनों में आपको मालूम है कि एयर इंडिया का जो क्रश हुआ था, जिसमें कितने से लोग मर गए थे। एक ऐसी औरत थी जिसको लंदन जाना था और इसके बारे में आपने सुना होगा वो जब वह एयरपोर्ट पहुंच जाती है तब ऐसा लगता है कि उसको टिकट मिल जाएगी, क्योंकि उसका टिकट तैयार थी लेकिन वो लेट पहुंच गई थी, केवल 5 या 10 मिनट, क्योंकि उसको रास्ते में जाने में मुश्किल पड़ा था। और वहां जाने के बाद वो मना करते हैं, तुम जा नहीं सकती क्योंकि लेट हो गया, अभी सब फुल, तुम नहीं जा सकते। उसका अर्जेंट मीटिंग था, फिर भी उन्होंने जाने नहीं दिया और इसीलिए वो उनको कर्ज करने लगी, तुम लोग ऐसे हो वैसे हो, और कहने लगी ईश्वर भी कैसा है वो मुझे नहीं समझता है। और उसके बाद वह घर गई और बहुत सैड होकर वह बैठ गई। तब उसे पता लगा कि वह एयर इंडिया का एरोप्लेन है, वो गिर गया है और सब लोग मर गए हैं। Then she began to realize that God is much greater than what she really believed. God can work miracles in the way that we hardly believe. प्यारे भाई और बहनों, हमें यह समझना चाहिए कि इस संसार को समझना बहुत मुश्किल हो जाता है, क्योंकि गॉड जो ईश्वर जो है महान है, वो सब कुछ जानता है जो हम नहीं जानते हैं। हम छोटे हैं, हमारी सोच ऊंची है, इसलिए हम नहीं समझते। My dear friends, let us therefore trust in God. Let us not think that God is just like putting a password in the mobile and say, well, everything will be okay. It is not like that. Sometimes we may not get what we get and what we think we should get, but God knows what is best for us. So let us keep on praying. When we pray, then we don't lose hope. We trust in Him. And also let us believe that when we are praying, our life should change. If life doesn't change, then our prayer is not real prayer at all. Because my attitude is same towards others and I behave in the same way as before, then nothing has changed in me. I am only thinking God is like a Akshay Patra and whenever I press the button, He will give me. It is not like that. God tests me. He wants to know how much I trust Him. And then He gives me everything that I want. ईश्वर के घर में देर है, अंधेर नहीं है। Thank you and God bless you.